You know, Nipsey was one of the few successful rappers that continued to stay in his neighborhood and actually try to build up his neighborhood. Have you ever seen any other rappers actually do that? Like, for example, in Long Beach, are there any businesses in Long Beach started by Long Beach rappers?
I'm sure there's a couple.
But not any prominent ones you could think of?
No, not whole squares and, prominent real estate or, that of note, so maybe they've done something that's not, broadcast to the general public.
Yeah.
But nah, I haven't seen nobody work like that right where they come from and build from within like that. And he had a big heart. He was a small guy, man, in stature, but his heart was gigantic, So I mean, just in a charitable and loving way,
yeah.
But I mean, just courageously as well. He didn't back down, and he stood for what he represented.
Yeah, man, because people will come out of a lower income neighborhood, they'll do well, they'll buy a house somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And then you'll hear of businesses being done in affluent areas, and people will open a store in Fairfax, but he opened a store on Crenshaw and Slauson, which is rolling 60s, through
Right.
and through.
I think that was a kind of passion for him, because I say it was a passion of his because they took the liberty of trying to run him off of that property when he was just trying to dump some mixtapes. You got a business that does something that you ain't selling no mixtapes. So yeah, you see a young guy doing something positive and legal, maybe not legal as far as having a license for it or a permit, but I'm not harming nobody. I'm not bringing no bad traffic around here. Mm-hmm. And they ran him off of that property. They used to run him off of there. So when he was able to, he like, okay, cool. Now y'all work for me. Y'all can keep y'all businesses and all that, but this is, y'all paying me now. So it was kind of a boss move at the same time,
yeah.
But at the same time, I respect that he did it right there where he came from. He used to work right up the street at 9 years old at Chambers shoe shop. It's like right down the street from his Marathon store where he was, where he was murdered at.
Yeah, man.
He stayed there. That's his heart,
Yeah.
That's his heart, and he did that. I mean, but in not even in defense of other artists who've made it big and left their neighborhoods or whatever, but just the reality. You can't help the whole world at once. So I give Nip props for being the kind of person that he took whatever heat came with him being there. And, he faced it. He didn't run from it. And, it's like, this what I want to do. This what I'm committed to. I got my young squad with me, and ain't nobody gonna run us. You know what I'm saying? This what we doing right here. And he planted his flag, and I respect that a whole lot. But in defense, like I said, but not really in defense of other artists, man, it's a nonstop give me. I need, help me. Why you ain't doing this? Why you haven't put no business here? Why you haven't did this? And half of these people, if they had the opportunity, they wouldn't do shit themselves. That's asking these questions.
Right.
Exactly. So, I don't begrudge nobody really how they operate with their own money, but in honor of Nip, he had the heart to stay there and do that. That's why I said he faced whatever came with that. That's what he was committed to do. Like, I'm doing it right here in the hood, and in the hood, I'm bringing the hood with me, and that was a G move.
Well, yeah, and I think it's really dope that he took this area, this Crenshaw district, and started putting it on T-shirts, started naming his album that, and started branding this area that no one was really talking about. I mean, I remember on some Death Row album, like I remember Corrupt goes, yeah,
Corrupt.
Bring your ass to Crenshaw Slauson. And I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah, I'm stranded
That
on
sounds
death
dangerous
row.
the way he's saying it, like, you know.
That was that song, Stranded on Death Row.
Yeah, there you go, Stranded
Yeah.
on Death Row. There we go.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the song. And I'm like, that was the first time I heard Crenshaw and Crenshaw Slauson, because I was living in the Bay at the time. I wasn't from LA. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then Nipsey starts talking about it, and everyone's wearing the shirts, and he's branding that and turning it into a tourist destination. It almost reminded me of when Snoop first came out. I'd never even really heard of Long Beach.
True,
You know?
true.
If you're not living in LA, you had never heard of Long Beach before Snoop Dogg.
Pretty much you hadn't.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
This was not, you heard of LA, of course.
And Compton.
And you heard of Compton.
Yeah, Easy put that on. Well,
Easy put that on the
Toddy
map.
T and Mixmaster Spain
Really
and all
easy.
those.
Let's
stop
keep it
Easy,
100.
okay?
Shout out to the originators. Shout to
No
them.
doubt.
But living, like I said, living outside of LA,
Yeah.
Easy was the first person to say
Agreed,
Compton.
agreed.
And Snoop was the first person to say Long Beach. And I remember he had the hat that said LBC.
Mm-hmm,
You see, think about if Snoop had actually branded that and started stores and started LBC clothing, and I'm not sure, it doesn't seem like he did that consistently throughout.
No.
But Nipsey really took it upon himself.
He had other interests because he got so big so fast. I believe that
Yeah.
he had St. Ides sponsoring him
Right.
back then, and different other kind of entities that got behind him. So he was more like a brand ambassador.
Yeah, like a spokesman.
Yeah, yeah.
But Nipsey actually owned his shit,
Yes, he did.
which I think is very commendable.
No doubt.
And then actually owned the property that sold the shit.
Yeah.
So he's like kind of running it, the whole vertical of it all.
Yeah. Very
Um,
sharp young man. He always, whenever we did spend time in each other's company and dialogue, it would always be about either history or something in the future that, would benefit what we was doing as artists. It wasn't, and if we was talking about some street shit, it just happened to come up.
Right.
But,
Well, yeah, I remember when I interviewed him. I did one interview with him, a sit down, some years back. And when I started speaking about the whole Rolling 60s thing, he said, yeah, the first thing he pointed out was the Rolling 60s was one of the most enterprising gangs in terms of business and corporate strategy and stuff like that. That was the first thing he mentioned.
Our generation, was kind of responsible for like putting it on the map in terms of like hustling in business and, like making moves outside of the streets, and taking it to, a corporate level. Not necessarily taking gangbanging, but taking the legacy of our area to like, the corporate level.
they start off with money, really. You know what I'm saying? They come from a pretty affluent area of LA. They don't got ramshackle houses with half the fence hanging off. Just you can step over, and it's not like that over there. They come from money pretty much, so it's only natural. That's why they call themselves the rich rolling 60s.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.